Welcome to another episode of the Second Half Podcast. We are back. For those of you guys tuning in, be sure to hit the like, subscribe button. Be sure to share it out to your network. I'm excited for another conversation. We've got a brilliant mind, someone who's doing some incredible things beyond the game right now, that I'm excited to tell his story. Not me telling his story, he's about to tell his story, which is great. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Chris James. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you having me on. Long time coming.
It's been a while, man. You know, to give kind of context to everybody, you know, we met from playing the game and just kind of being connected with people. Football guy, playing flag football, having some fun on Sundays. But when you really look at this man's career and his story, it's beyond just that. You know, that's just kind of how we just link up and connect. So, man, let's get right into it, man. So where did you know the story of CJ? Where did that first begin for you?
I mean, it started in the projects, honestly, for me.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up in that area, you know, sports is your thing. Like, you get up, you play football, you play basketball every day. Like, that's just kind of, you know, it don't feel like everybody else say, like, oh, it's like an outlet, but you don't know that until you get older. Like, you know, you just get up, you go to the court, you play basketball outside. That's why, like, it's kind of weird to see kids not play basketball outside. Like, that's all that I did, play basketball constantly outside in the summer, at the Park District, at the Boys and Girls Club, in the rec, no matter when, even when I moved from over there. But we play football in the snow, we play football in the concrete, we play football in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of things don't really exist. I mean, for safety reasons.
Right.
But that's just my love of the game. That's where it comes from.
I got you. I got you. I know, you know, Chicago, everyone from Chicago is always proud of the projects that they grew up in. Which ones were you in?
I grew up in Robert Taylor, 5250. So it's a weird dynamic, you know, like, that is the true thing. I never heard nobody say that, but like, this is where I'm from. Like, that's why I'm from here, I'm from the Wells, I'm from the Ickies, I'm from,
it's like,
it's a proud thing. Like, yeah.
You stand up for where you're from, and I think it's something to be said about that, is that, you know, and I think as we get into the story a little bit later on, like, you can unpack that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made it from here, so there's no reason why you should not feel if that was. But, you know, beyond that, like you said, you rolled out of bed, basketball, football, that was where you would live, right? All the time. It was courts filled, it was fields filled, just throwing the football out. You know, what was the family dynamic for you? Was it just you by yourself, or did you have a solid family core to help you kind of nurture yourself as you grew up in this area?
I would say it was really just like my coaches, like, and my uncle. My mom has 10 siblings.
Wow.
And my uncle was like the athletic one. You know, he was playing basketball overseas.
Okay.
You know, so he'd come back from overseas with the shorts from the teams. He'd take me to the Foot Locker on 55th.
Yep.
I remember he bought me a pair of Jason Kidds and a pair of Chris Webbers, and he was like, "Man, don't mess them up." And I looked at him like, "I'm gonna mess these up." Like, I just told him, like, and he was like, "I respect that. Like, I respect that because I know what you're gonna do. Like, I'm a hoop in them like all day."
Yeah.
You know, and for me, and then even when it was time for me to qualify for school, you know, I was a late qualifier. I qualified my senior year, had to get all A's. He used to come see me every day, like, and tell me about his experience, about his story. Plus, like, he kind of knew, like, my journey. Like, when I had games, when I had big games, he was there.
Yeah.
Kind of like the piece. So it was like, he would let me play on his team. Sometimes he wouldn't let me play on the team, but if I went on the team, I knew he was gonna foul the hell out of me. I knew my uncle was a big dude. He like 6'7", and that's all. He literally come grab me, like, "Come on, we finna go hoop. We finna go hoop at Foster Park. We finna go hoop here. We finna go," and everybody knew my uncle.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my piece. But I kind of bounced around with like my whole family.
Okay.
Like, you know, my aunts, little my uncles, and I got some stability and kind of moved with my grandma. And my grandma is the one that, you know, kind of took me out of the streets.
Yeah.
To make me she's the one that put me in organized sports.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I started playing for Beasley. Beasley basketball is like, to this day, like a grade school program that's everybody that was played at Beasley. So that's why I got a chance to play with Derrick Rose at Beasley when he was there. Yep. And then he went to Cincinnati and I went to Morgan Park. So that's kind of like my coaches, man. Mr. Green. So it's like my coach, Mr. Green, and my uncle. That was my family that grew me 100%.
No, I love it. So, obviously your uncle, coach, your grandmother, they were the ones that kind of put their arms around you and said, okay, you got the uncle that's going to beat you up to kind of create that toughness out of you and have you a little bit more strength. Grandma, as most grannies do, they're going to say, listen, we're going to put the structure. We're going to have your eyes on
Right,
this and,
right.
set you on the pathway. And then the coach really kind of wraps around it and kind of keeps you on that consistency, which I love. So from there, like, you talk a lot about basketball, but that wasn't your, which is super dope. Like, you went to Beasley, played with Derrick Rose, one of the greatest out of the city, and so many others from there. But you found a way to make a name for yourself on the other
Playing
side.
football.
Yeah, like
Even to this day, like people ask like, "What's your first love?" Basketball. I
basketball.
was a
Yeah,
hoop. Like I wasn't like, like it wasn't a thing. So it was this dude, man, at my school. His name was Larry Crowder. And at Beasley, like once you got in Beasley, you stuck. So I went to Beasley from 2nd to 8th grade, no matter how tumultuous my childhood was. That was like my mainstay. I went to school. I went to Beasley, no matter where I lived at or whatever.
Yep.
And this dude got up in front of the class every year, and he'd stand up there and be like, "My dad got a football team. Anybody want to join?" And we used to clown him. We literally used to clown him like every year. He stood up in front of the class, teacher let him talk. And then my 8th grade year, he said it, and somebody in the class was like, "Man, we should go play this time." Like literally, like we should go play. And it was down the street from Beasley.
Wow.
It was a CPS program. It was a free program. And we went and played, and we got there. We seen his dad. And he was like, "Man, I've been asking y'all to come for years." Years, knowing what, the type of athletic ability of the kid that was over there. And we end up playing in the championship game that year with everybody that joined. And then everybody from that team ended up going to play like big time and, like all my teammates. And so that's how I kind of got started in that. And from there, it was like, "You sure about this?
Right.
Football? Like, you think so?" And I was like, "Nah, we played football growing up all the time. Like, I ain't scared.
Right.
We play in the middle of the hallway in the project.
Right.
We play concrete in the middle of the street. That ain't no. We got equipment that just make it. I can hit you a little bit harder." So, yeah. And so, I was going to Simeon.
Okay.
I was going to Simeon. And anybody that knows Simeon, Coach Hambrick told me that I couldn't play both.
You wouldn't play you couldn't play basketball and football.
You can play basketball and football. You got to pick. And I was like, and the Morgan Park people was like, "You can play both." I know when I got here, like that wasn't flying. It was the same old school coach.
Yep.
So when I got to MP my freshman year, we started, football started in the summer.
Yep.
And so it was just like, "Man, you're pretty good. Like you just started playing." And I was like, "Yeah."
Just raw talent.
So Morgan Park was just on his way. Like before I got to Morgan Park, they won city championship in all 3 levels for football.
Okay.
So I kind of picked a good destination a few years before they had played in the state championship game for basketball. Yep. So I felt like I made a good choice, even though I lived 5 blocks from Simeon.
I'm about to say, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's kind of like where it started. And then the reason why Coach Spurlock didn't want football players to play basketball is because it was mandatory that you had to run track because he was the head track coach.
Oh, got you.
So it was like, okay, like you got to pick. So my sophomore year, I played a little bit of AAU, and then Coach Spurlock was like, I ain't gonna say what he said, but I went to track practice.
Yeah, exactly.
He
made a decision for you, basically.
And I seen like, man, everybody getting recruited over here, everybody going big time, and that wasn't necessarily happening on the basketball side. They was good coaches.
Yeah.
They was good, but it was just like what was happening on the football side was grand. Like we were one of the top 10 teams in the state. We were, guys were like the commitment level and the discipline was just different.
Yeah. And
it was okay, and you gravitated to that. Like, and I just stopped. And everybody see me now that they know, they be like, "Man, you still hooping?" And I'm like, I play football. Like,
it's funny how the transition happens as you get to high school. It's like, grade school, middle school, whatever it is for you. Like you go through those learnings, whether it's track, football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, and all of a sudden you get to that point, that turning point. Coach is like, "Yeah, we see the talent, and we see what you get. What you don't see it yet, but we see it because they looking at it all day in the competition."
And so, like, I tell kids now, like, the one thing that happened for me that I noticed is I stopped getting taller. So, like, everybody started, like, becoming, like, trees in basketball. But on the football field, I'm a little bit above average. I'm 6 feet. I'm 6'1".
Yep.
But on the basketball court, like, I'm 6'6'1". I'm short.
Yeah. Guards even then weren't. I mean, I say like guards on the court now are like between 6'6" and 6'8" now.
Yeah.
Like
back
then it was just getting there.
Yeah, it was just getting there. So you still had like 6'2", 6'3" guards. Yeah. I'm looking like, nah, this ain't like. Yeah. And my uncle's 6'7", so he like kept saying, "Man, you gonna get taller. You gonna get taller. All your uncle's 6'4". I'm like, yo, I got bounce. I could jump, but man, like. And I remember my freshman year, we played against John Shire, who's about to be the new head coach. And I had to guard him.
Oh wow.
He was like 4 or 5 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm playing hard. He's just shooting over me. Yeah. Like. I'm like, man, this ain't it.
It gets different as you get older.
It's different. Like, we was playing big time teams and big time schools. So, and then on a football field, I was dominating. Like, it was easy. So it was like, oh yeah, this where.
Yeah. So speak on that. Like, when did you realize? Was it that freshman you stepped on the field, or was it a different time during that journey where you was like, oh, I'm not doing football? Like, when did you know?
I know the exact moment that it happened. Like, I was a freshman. I thought I was pretty good, but we had talent. Like, and we had like developed talent. That's the thing. Like, you could be talented and go against another dude that's talented. Y'all ain't those guys. You might be more talented than them, but they more polished.
Yeah.
They more fundamentally sound. And so I'm looking at these dudes like, man, they nice. And so my coach used to send us to FCA camp like every year. And so now I'm a sophomore, about to be a junior. I played a little bit of varsity my sophomore year, but my grades wasn't good, so my head coach was disciplining me. Like, he was sending me down with the sophomore team, making me play up, he was trying to correct me.
Yeah.
And I was just like destroying the kids on the sophomore team. So that didn't really, it was like, man, they my age, I'm supposed to.
Right.
So my junior year, I'm supposed to play varsity. I'm about to be a junior. So we go to FCA camp and we do one-on-ones for like 3 hours, like at FCA camp. And so we had a dude on our team, Pedro Williams, and don't nobody know this story. Pedro Williams was like going to Nebraska. He was like 5'8". He was benching like 275. He was strong. He was fast. He was quick. And he was one of them dudes on our team. And I had to go again. Like, I was kind of like, I wasn't ducking him, but I'm like, man, am I ready yet? Can I go against Pedro? And my FCA person, his name was Chris Millett, my counselor. He went to Northwestern.
Okay.
And he was like, I'm cooking everybody. He was like, man, go against Pedro. And I had to look. I'm like, man, I don't know. Like TJ, nice. Like, go against him. And I ran like a post corner. Like, he ran in the middle of the field. And everybody was like, man. And I was like, I'm him. Like,
yeah.
Paige was like, go again. Kill him.
Oh, yeah.
For like 20 minutes straight.
At that point, he in his head, he like, no, I got to get him back.
I got to get him back. So after the fact, we go to lunch. I'm at the table. Everybody coming to talk to me, and like it's the summer. It's like kid stuff, you know. And so like the next few days over the camp, everybody trying to go against me. Like everybody trying to like prove their point versus me. And I remember going with my uncle. Everybody used to try to prove their point to him because like he was the guy. Like he could shoot. If he got hot, it was over with.
A paradigm shift happened.
Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Trying to ride your wave. He's like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go at the best person. And then it clicked like, everybody going against me.
You the target now.
I'm him.
Yeah.
It was that moment. I remember like it was just like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then we had 3 corners that went D1.
Oh yeah.
And they was all a year above me. So when you were a sophomore and they juniors, they played varsity.
Right.
Full time. Like, I got up there, I did my thing or whatever, and even then the coach was like, you're really good. But that's what I'm saying, my coaches. My receiver coach, his name is Milton Biggins.
Okay.
He played with the Cowboys. He played at the U with Michael Irvin them.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was like super fortunate. So he was that, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
You ain't that good.
Right.
Like that was his. And in my head, I'm like, prove him wrong. But the whole time
he knew.
He knew, like, I got one. And I'm about to let him have it. So it wasn't until my junior year we played the state playoff game, and I had a catch that was just crazy.
Yeah.
And he came to the sideline, and he was like, "That's what I fucking expect from you. I expect," and I'm looking like that was his way of saying you've arrived.
Yeah, it's
like,
your time.
It wasn't like great job, great check. He's like, "No, I expect that from you." And I looked at him and I smiled, and he was like, Don't look at me like that. That's the last compliment you'll ever get.
Hey, I love that tough love there like that.
Yeah, and so like you can't coach every kid like that now. Like Biggins recognized like who I was and where I was from.
Yep.
Like that was my when I knew like once I got his stamp of approval.
Yep.
I was ready. Like I was ready. Now, I call Biggs. I'm glad you said that.
Man, there you go. It's always nice to just tap back in with the coaches that help get you to where you're supposed to be. I need to do the same myself. Man, you know what? It's interesting enough about you said like it was just that time when you knew. And I think like from basketball growing up for us, like we had, you go on the internet, and it's back in the early internet days of like you go on there, you go high school elite and see where you ranked in the state, and then you look at where you at, Frank Rusnik, that's what it was for basketball. For football, I mean, I think I have a good idea. Like I think it was Rivals at the time or Edgy Tim or something like that.
Yeah.
Were those pretty much like the measure where you could actually see like, okay, this is who's in the state, here's who I'm playing, like that's who I got to go at? Or how did you kind of map out your game to game as you're kind of competing?
Well, it was different at MP because I felt like during that time, that span that we had, we was arrogant.
Okay.
Like we was arrogant. So it wasn't like it's like everybody here. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody you to go against, they here.
So practice was lit.
Yeah, practice was lit. So you like, man, if I was killing them, ain't nothing better than them. And then my quarterback was the number one quarterback in the state. That's what I mean. Like, so I'm home. So everybody watching his tape, Texas, USC, Oklahoma. That's back when, Texas, Oklahoma, USC was Bama, Clemson, Oregon was just now. And so everybody like, man, we're gonna offer you, but who is number 4? Like, who is that? So when I first seen the Rivals thing, I was 1, like every receiver. So it wasn't like, and then it was I forgot his name. His name was Carl. He went to Bolingbrook. And we went to a camp. We went to camp, and it was just like, oh, you supposed to be the dude that's behind me. So it was just like, for me, like, nah, I'm going to make the gap big. I'm going to make it so it ain't like no question. Because it was like everybody questioned my speed, but everybody knew he was fast.
Right.
Like, it was his game. And so we was at the camp together, and I'm like, nah, I'm going to make it so I'm going to one-hand this person. I'm going to go over this person's head. So it was like, yeah, he can't do that. Like, he can't. And so I was arrogant about it. And I knew like the guys that really felt like they was tough, they was gonna want to go against me to prove themselves. And that happened a lot. And it was just like, nah, I'm gonna let you know, like ain't no you ain't close. Ain't none of that happening. Like, and it happened a lot of times with kids that went to public schools, like, man, if you could lock up CJ, like you straight. They was telling coaches like, I'll be locking him up when we go do workouts. And I'd be like, nah, fam. This ain't. So my homie Juice that went to Illinois with me, his brother got a camcorder. Okay. We used to run routes in the gym at King. And I used to invite anybody up there who wanted to like
whoever wanted to work and get it.
Still videos of it to this day. Like
y'all made your own N1 mixtape.
Yeah, like me. And so you gotta think, like you got the top 3. It was a weird time. The top 3 players in the state. All CPS kids in football. Yeah. And we telling y'all, come to King. Well, we at King. This is what we at. Come so, like, you trying to get on? Come on.
Right. See what you can really do and get this work.
Yeah, let's see what you can really do. Let's see if you really about it.
Yeah, y'all was arrogant. Y'all was arrogant.
No. Oh, Eric. Everybody will tell you, like, I wanted to beat them so bad. Yeah. And it was just like, yeah, dude. Sure. But honestly, that was Coach Spurlock. Like, that was Coach. That was his attitude towards everything. Like, we Morgan Park. Yep. And I was like, that's why I went back to my high school. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah, no, for sure. So then now, as you said, you got Juice, that's your quarterback. Y'all at Morgan Park. You got, all the best receivers, running all of that over at Morgan Park. So what's that recruiting process look like for you? Now that you done been to the camps, you killing everybody. All eyes on Morgan Park during that time. How did that set up? Because, as you know, right now it's different. And I love to kind of get into the space that we in today. But, like, for you during that time, how was that? What'd that look like for you?
It was a lot of pressure. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. It started out, like, it flipped from fun to pressure real fast. Like, you go from 2 offers to 35 in a matter of, like, a couple of weeks.
Wow.
And then like everybody calling, the people calling the school, people calling your grandma's house, people calling your grandma's job. I'm like, hey, I want to talk to you about your grandson. And they're like, okay, like I ain't really have time to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Like how I wanted to, So I kind of like made a business decision early. So it was just like, man, okay. Coach Zook Ohio State came in, and Coach Zook was just like, yeah, you like them, huh? Like Zook was the Illinois coach. And I was like, yeah. He's like, what they say? So they had Teddy Gann, they had Anthony Gonzalez, they had Troy Smith, they had guys.
Yeah, they had guys.
Like they had guys. So he's recruiting me. He was just like, look, you got a chance to get on the field on special teams as a freshman, and then you might redshirt, and you got to try to earn your job. Your sophomore year. And Zook looked me dead in my face and was like, why would you go there and sit on the bench when you can come here and start versus him? And I was like, I heard what he said, and I was like, that's a good point. Like, you could go here and play against them right now. Like he's like, if you're really the guy you think you are,
yeah,
not come here and do your own thing. You're gonna go to Ohio State and be the next Ohio State receiver. You're gonna come here and be CJ.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Like off the rip. Like as soon as he said that, and then I still had to qualify.
Uh-huh.
So people was iffy on me. Like, yeah, we like you, but we don't think you're going. So Zook called me the morning of my test. He was the only coach that called me that morning. Remember, we really had cell phones. We called, texted, called me that morning. He was like, man, you going to score high. Like, we know what type of kid you are. And I scored a 25. So all I needed was a 2.0.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I'm straight now. And he called me out. He was like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm like, I'm coach, I'm coming. Plus, he wanted me to go first. Like he told me the truth. He was like, I need a 4 or 5 star to go first. He was like, you could go first, and then everybody. Well, he's like, watch, everybody gonna come with you. And I went first, and I was like, whoa, like, damn, everybody is coming.
I said, are we going with CJ?
Yeah, he was like, yeah, and then it was 2 quarterbacks. So Juice went to CVS, W went to Morgan Park with me. I just told them like, I just want one of y'all to come. I don't need both of y'all because everybody knew like the spot. We all knew like this is a good spot. Like you're gonna start as a freshman, you're gonna get a chance to play, and Juice ended up coming. Like he committed a week and a half after I did. Because I was like, he was like, you did it. I was like, I called Eddie Tim, like, I'm staying home.
Yep.
And hung up on him.
And that was it.
Like a whole article.
He was like, I'm ready.
I said 3 words. Yeah, I'm like, man, I'm saying. He like, all right. That was it. So that's how, and then it just turned into after that, I was just calling guys.
Yeah.
Yo, come on. Like, let's go do this. Like,
yeah.
Let's do this. And went to the Rose Bowl my sophomore year. So it was like, it worked.
Yeah.
As much as I turned into a role player and doing my part, it worked. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, that's what's up. I guess, everybody has a story in the recruiting process of the schools. Of course, I know you fell in love right away with Illinois. How many other places did you take visits to other than Ohio State and Illinois? And which one was actually probably the best one, the best experience for you?
I guess cliche-wise, Oregon was my best experience.
Okay.
Like, I was going to Oregon. Yeah. I was committed to Illinois when I was visiting Oregon. And the only thing that stopped me, bro, is my grandmother only said she was coming to one game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Game a year. Well, Illinois, she could come to all the games.
All of them.
So when she said that, I'm 17. Damn, Granny ain't coming.
That's like, it's funny how much your grandmother plays a role in your decision, because she did the same thing for mine.
Yeah.
It was like, if I can see you coming to play at this school, I can come all the time. But if you go to this school, I can't come see you as often. I'm like, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
and that was like the thing. Like, and then the coach was like, man, we could have brought her out here every day. We could have, like, if that's what he ain't know until after I signed. He came back to the school. He had a good relationship with me.
Yeah.
And then he was like, so man, tell me why. Because the morning of signing day, I was in the air. Like, and I was like, I looked at my granny. I was like, man, I'm going to go to Illinois. The Illinois coaches didn't know though.
Okay.
I would have like bamboozled them like at the last minute. Like, I've been committed this whole time.
You would have blew up everything. All the homies just said,
like,
I'm going to Illinois. Yeah.
Like, and I was like, no, I'm coming.
Nah, that's
I
what's
think
up.
they still don't know to this day. Like
Really?
to this day.
That's
Yeah.
wild. That's wild.
So like I had the paperwork and then I just texted coach like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Illinois.
Yeah.
It's easier decision. So I visited Illinois, Oregon, Michigan State. I visited Notre Dame because that's where my quarterback went, and that's what I told him I would give him an opportunity,
Yep.
and then Ohio State. And I mean Ohio State was Ohio State, like it wasn't,
Yeah.
but it was just like that stuck in my head, like you gonna have to sit,
Yeah.
like or you can. It's about to be real, like you gotta. And it wasn't like that. I wanted it easy. It was just like Zook had a point.
Yep.
You gonna come here and do your thing right away. So
Right. You get the keys to the.
but Oregon was like, and it was like Dennis Dixon, Joey Harrington. Like we go out there, it was like, yo, this is different. This is, and the schools kind of caught up. But at that time, because the next year, 2 years from then, they beat. That's how we end up playing the Rose Bowl versus SC because Oregon beat USC, and USC was on the downturn after Bush now.
Yep.
And Oregon was. So I knew I seen it, and I was like, "Ooh, this looked like the Illinois deal." But I was a Chicago kid on the West Coast. That's when I heard the lingo, the hyphy lingo, and I'm like, "What the?
What's going on out here?"
It's different out here, but I'm cool with it. You start seeing the Samoan guys.
Yep.
I'm like, this.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm like, my girl came back. Coach Bro, like, hey man, how was the West Coast? Man, Coach, you might not see me ever again.
Y'all messed up sending me out west. No, as you know, like I had Bo Dennis on the podcast, and I had Garen Strong. Like that's what they even said. It was like, man, I got there, and it was like, yeah, I'm on the way. Like it was, and it wasn't just about the jerseys. Like it was nice because they was just starting to flip the jerseys out.
Yeah, they were just starting that.
But they was like on. They was getting wins. They was playing the big games. Dennis and Garen. Both of them. They was like we locked in and just took off. Yeah. If he wouldn't have got that knee injury, he was a Heisman winner instead of Tebow. Honestly.
Yeah, that's real, bro. That.
It was just
a vibe, and I remember like. People don't remember Joey Harrington won the Heisman, and he had the huge thing. And I seen that, like, yo, they about to catch fire. They about to, but they was already like people were seeing. It was different, and everybody was vibing. The West Coast vibes is different. Period.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got you. So, this is kind of where I like to flip into the halftime part, right? And so we'll move into a little bit of the conversation with, as you started to enter down in Illinois. Obviously, you said the one thing, it was a little stressful for you was, everything was moving so fast. What was your mental space in during that time, right? Because as you said, you're talking to Granny, you're talking to coaches. It's coming at you fast. Like, how did you kind of adapt and evolve to kind of make the quick decision for yourself?
I wanted to win State at Morgan Park bad.
Yeah.
So the recruiting stuff was becoming a distraction. Like it was becoming like everybody was asking and I was like, all right, like cool. And then when I did pick Illinois because I had so many big ones, people was like, man, you were supposed to pick the sexy pick. Like. Yeah. And I'm like, y'all don't really know what go into this. Like when you sit down in this room, and my uncle schooled me quick. He was like, don't be getting, starstruck. They want you. They offered you because you could play there. So he was really the one that like, no, you belong there.
Yep.
So I never felt like, but that I wanted to win state at MP. So that's what I was focused on. Like I wasn't. The recruiting stuff just to the point where Coach Burlock the coach would call his school phone, and that's crazy that coach calling the school phone.
Right.
And he was like, man, they don't want to talk to nobody. So in my head coach saying that, and luckily I had a old school coach that was strong and that was stern. He ain't care like what they said or who they. Charlie Weiss was calling the school. He's like, man, you got to call back later. Call them in 2 days, and they got track practice. So. I was good, man. I was good. I just wanted to win state.
Yep.
Like I wasn't focused on after I committed, I'm good. I don't got to talk I'm solid. So I was in a good space, man. We ended up not winning state because the year before my junior year, we played in state semifinals, and because at the time no CPS school had ever won state, and like we were supposed to be the ones that did it. Like, so I was completely locked in. Now I was a kid, I was like winning the Prep Bowl, but I mean that was fun at the time. But now, like, I'm like, man, I want it now.
No, I got you. All right, so obviously now you made your decision. Did you hit that goal of winning state that year?
Nope.
No. Who'd y'all end up losing to?
We lost to Marist in the first round of state.
Oh wow. Just outplayed.
Lost to Marist. Yeah, with City, you get to come back and play in the City championship game.
Yep.
And so we played the City championship game. I ended up playing quarterback in the last game.
Oh wow.
And then we beat Brother Wright. So it was like it was a smooth consolation prize. Like, anytime you're a CPS school, you get to beat a Catholic school. You hang your hat on that.
Yeah, for sure. It's always that public school Catholic league
rivalry. Yeah, always. Especially here. Like, here is crazy.
Yep. You think it was Miami versus Notre Dame all over again.
All over again. That's the best comparison I could give. But that's perfect. Actually.
That's exactly what it is. No, for sure. So let's go ahead and get into, as you made that commitment, now you showed up at Illinois. What was the transition like? Like how did you take on the preparation, the training, all the learnings that you had from high school? How did you take that into being in Illinois and into that work ethic?
I feel like I came from like a disciplined program. Mm-hmm. So we come from Coach Froy was a dictator. So it didn't matter. Like, you're going to do what was said when you're supposed to do it, regardless of how you feel. So that's kind of like what college is like. Yeah. You got to do what you're supposed to do. It ain't nobody going to tell you what to do, and you be gone in a heartbeat. And so it was an easy transition for me as far as like the work. Because all we did was, we was good, we was talented, but we worked like all year round. You ain't had no summer, you ain't had no off season, you worked. So that part was me. The thing that was the transition was everybody good.
Yeah.
Everybody nice. Everybody fast. Everybody big. And you start to see, like, I go home, just like, man, can I play D1? No, it's different. Like, God made these people. Like, that was the thing. Like, you get into a game, you get into practice, you seeing dudes like, yeah, pro.
Yeah.
Like, we're in the 7th round, we're going in the first. Like, that was and how physical the game was. It was just like, okay, you gotta take this weight room for real.
Yeah.
And we had a coach. I remember first day, Coach Luke, man, he was told us this phrase, but he was like, man, you could lead a horse to water, but he was like, but you can't make him drink. We was like, yeah. He's like, but you could drown his ass though. And that was like, when people ask me like, what's the workout? That's the workout.
Yeah.
That's like what you do in a week in high school, you're gonna do in a day and a half in college.
That's right. You're
gonna do in a day. So it was like he gave you that discipline and that mental toughness. That was the preparation to prepare you. But everybody good, bro. You can't. Once you get to big Power 5 football, basketball, you can't take no plays off.
Yeah.
You can't take no plays off. You can't take none of that. And how fast and big and strong dudes is. Like, that was okay, you really the slowest guy in the room, Chris. Like, this is why they question your speed. This is why they was asking questions about, how fast you were, because it's different up here. You got guys that playing linebacker running 4.4, 4.5 consistently. Consistently. Right. So that was like my biggest transition. Like, just somebody could match your talent level every snap.
Yeah. I got you. So during I mean, that's incredible to understand it. The difference from high school is, and I feel like it's consistent with what Dennis and Garen was telling me, is like that weight room like literally makes you the first day you step. It ain't nothing to do with what's on field. It's everything.
Nothing to do with, listen. But I don't know what it's like on the basketball side. But on a football weight room, man, it gets to another level. Like, it gets to a level, like, I remember times being dizzy in there, but like, I about to quit. I can't, like, we got a day. Like, and I could tell the energy, what type of day it was when you were. For us, we knew if Pop was playing, like, man, you better strap your shit in.
Mm-hmm.
Like you better get ready for Pop playing today. Like, and you run after every lift.
Oh yeah.
Like, you run and you done in like an hour. You done in like an hour.
It's that.
Quick. Like, I mean, we did the warm up. Somebody was like, all right, that's the lift. He's like, that's the warm up. I was like, what? Like, yeah, it's still like that to this day. Any kid I talk to, like that football weight room. That's why I feel like that 3-year rule for guys to go from high school, that you need that.
You need that.
Only one person, I think, Adrian Peterson, probably the only person ever, I think, that possibly could make that jump. But, man, the way dudes look, like,
yeah,
probably playing against a linebacker in high school that's 190, 195. You get to the league, they're back at 245. Like,
yeah, it's a different hit. It's a different contact and speed at the same time.
Like, but that weight room, boy,
that was
it. Make you, man. That make you quick,
real quick. No. So obviously, you was the one that, like you said, you made a decision. Everybody else followed. I'm going to Illinois too. So now y'all in there. Y'all got the reins. Y'all got everybody set. What was that experience like when you knew, hey, I got the quarterback that I want, just throwing it to me? That connection's already established because y'all was living down the street from each other. You know what I mean? Like, how did that finally take you guys up a level as y'all started the Illinois journey together?
Yeah, it was like they just needed me to go first for marketing purpose. But the dudes that they brought in were better than me.
Okay.
Like, Juice was that dude, like 6'2", 235 as a true freshman, as an 18-year-old kid. We playing in Penn State. They got a first-round linebacker. We playing the game, and he run him over. Third play of the game. So it's like, yo, you different. Like,
and he has speed.
You make your freshman mistakes, but he was punishing people, and he was making throws.
Yeah,
you know, and so it was like, and he mentally like toughed it out freshman year. Like, we in the dorms together. It was like the guys that they brought in that they needed me to, like Vontae Davis. Vontae was just physically just gifted. Like, he walked in the room at 203, 204. He walked in the room as top 10 strongest people on the team.
Oh, wow.
And you knew he was the man. They gave him number one. They gave him who got number one?
I'm about to say, yeah.
Like, and he set the tone because in the summer it's senior-led workouts. And everybody knew, like, that dude. So we knew we had the people. Yeah, we just had puppies. Like, we were just young. We didn't know no better. Like, that first year we went 2-10. We lost 7 games by 6 points.
Oh, wow.
Ohio State was the number 1 team in the country. They beat us by 3.
Yeah.
And we was 2-8 going into the game. So it was like, we knew, like, yeah, we just don't know how to, we don't know how to win yet.
Yeah.
Don't know how to win. And we had the top 10 recruiting class coming in next year. And it was the first time Illinois had 3 5-stars committed to Illinois. So, you know, them dudes is uber talented.
Yep.
Man, when them dudes walked in, we was already rolling. They just kind of like, they have the same attitude, same mentality that we had.
Yep.
We like, man, this is Illinois. This ain't
how it used to be back in the day. We about to turn it up.
This is the thing that surprised people. We're way more talented than you. Like, when the old Illinois is like, they're gonna have a few key people. No, we got more draft picks than you. We that cocky attitude that Zook had. Now that he used to say all the time, I'd rather be a great coach with bad players all day long. I mean, a bad coach with great players. Yeah, all day long. And we just and I think the strength coach at Illinois was a big part of that. Like, we bought into his crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I went from 180 to 207 in 1 year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody in the receiving room, 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Like,
everybody's 6 whatever, just two.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you motion the receiver in the backfield. We got Rashard Mendenhall. He 240. Juice 240. You motion the receiver. He 232. and we running the ball. Like it was lightning in a bottle. I would say. Like good job. Like they recruited. They recruited at my class, and then they stacked a big time class on top of that because they was like, "Look, we playing freshmen.
Yeah,
we got 18 freshmen starting or playing."
That's crazy.
And dude was like, "I'm coming," because they did what they said they was going to do. So that's how it started. And then we went from there to we predict Illinois to win the Big Ten. I looked like, whoa, this is happening. Like this is what we was talking about. So it was just, and then coaches started leaving, and it just got different.
Winning things got to get a little different anyway. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We just wasn't as consistent, and then go 7-5, go 6-6. It's a Big Ten, like you could win or lose a game in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So
no, that's facts. And everybody's going to the league, no matter where they at. Like you got pro guys on every side of the ball, every position.
And I be telling people that people don't be understanding. Like, man, if you can play, they gonna find you.
They're gonna find you.
And it's so easy.
Yep.
You play at Southern Illinois. You got to play more Arkansas week 1. Hey, who was 22? But like, they see it, dog. Like, it was different, dog.
So for you, I love to ask this question because this allows you to flex a little bit. What was the game for you at Illinois? You were just playing out of your mind where you just felt like, nothing. I wasn't gonna drop nothing. It didn't matter who was in front of me. Like you was getting run over. You was a highlight tape that day. That's basically what game was that for you?
Michigan.
Yeah. Who was on the other side? Who was on the other side of that smoke?
Michigan at the crib. It was Michigan at the crib. It was a route early in the game. It was like 3rd down or something, and I had a dig, and I like torched him.
Yeah.
Killed him. And Juice got sacked. And I turned around and I looked at him like, yeah, I got you. Like, I got you out here on skates. And so, like, people don't, like, we were running the ball a lot. And so it was like, they didn't want to be physical. Him and Baylor, the team we played against, like, they ain't really want that action like that. So we knew, like, we'd beat them up. And then it's funny when you play receiver, you get to the next level, you have all these meetings and scheming, and you line up a receiver, you look at the coverage, and you know the concept, and you're like, wait, ball coming here. Ball, like, the coverage dictates I should get the ball. Like, we got time. So I'm looking, I'm like, and I got a go route down the sideline. And I'm one-on-one. Press? Oh. I look up, the ball coming. Jabari, when I say this ball died on me, like the ball just, like I'm thinking it's out in front, I'm going to score. The ball literally just died. Like, it died. Like, I literally catch the ball, like, landing. And when I got up, I didn't realize I had the ball. And I stood up, and I'm on the 2-yard line.
Oh, wow.
I look at bro like, you couldn't get it out there.
Right.
And then he scored the next play. then like, he scored the next play. And I'm like, man, I got to get one. Because until that time, I hadn't scored in the college game.
Okay.
And so, like, we come back the next drive, like, now we going up. We rolling, same concept. I tell Coach, I got a dig route in the middle of the field. I catch it in stride. I'm about to go to the crib. I already see in my head, I'm about to launch the ball to the super section.
It was like, we going to get these fight. We're going to get this penalty real quick.
I get tripped up, man.
Oh.
I get tripped up. And then I'm on the sideline. So they changed the personnel. And I'm like, all right, I'm out. And because they changed the personnel, we rotating. Dude, catch a touchdown right at my position.
Oh, wow. That ball, that was yours.
You know how it is. Like, I'm like, man, we balling, we good. And I'm like, damn, that one was mine.
That was yours.
I ended up scoring like the next week against Purdue.
Okay.
And it was like, because it was like, anytime you beat Michigan, Ohio State, anytime you beat one of them, like, that's big at our school. And there was a couple times we blew Michigan out a couple of times.
Yeah.
Up there, 45-20, so that was my game. I had like 3-4 catches that game. But we was running the ball. Like, we never had nobody that 7-8 catches. Regis was the only one who was getting a rock like that.
Okay. That's exactly who it was for you. That was like, all right, you getting the pick.
At our school, and as an older man and being accountable, you should be giving the ball to him.
I got you.
You should be giving the ball to him.
That's funny. All right, this is a time in the conversation I'll let it have. It's called a 30-second timeout. We get to just have a quick conversation. The first thing that gets you to come to your mind, like Just throw it out there. So this kind of allows people to kind of get to know who you are on a different level. So first question out the gate: breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Okay. Favorite?
I eat breakfast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I got to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next, where's your favorite place that you've traveled to?
Maldives.
Maldives. That had to be.
Oh, sorry. Africa. Ghana.
Oh, you went to Ghana. Okay. That's dope. All right. What was your favorite shoe that you played in? Basketball or football, shall I say now? Since you had the J Kids and everything, Unc got those.
When the first pair of Vapors came out, them was like the Nike Vapors. It was the first one. And I played in some foams my 8th grade year. They was the new joints.
Yeah.
They was like, they was heavy as hell.
I'm about to say.
They was super heavy, but I thought they was dope.
Yep, for sure. All right, who's your favorite player? Who's your favorite player growing up?
Growing up, basketball or football?
Football.
Chris Carter.
Hands. Vikings.
Chris Carter. Chris Carter was my favorite receiver. Because he had hands. I had hands.
Yeah.
Like, get that.
I got you. Who was the toughest player you ever played against?
Malcolm Jenkins.
Just off top.
Off top. Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins hit me hard as hell.
You said that was the one I was like, yeah, that's gonna really mess me up.
Him and Vontae Davis. Like, I had to go get Vontae every day. So that was it. And then my homie Tavon. I wanted to name 3 people. Tavon's still in the league to this day.
Okay.
To this day.
Them was the ones that got you right, but Malcolm was the one that like, hey, you.
It was physical. Like, it was physical. That's the thing. Like, that changes any DB. Like, any DB that gets physical.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite album that you can listen to for the rest of your life?
Friday Night Lights by Cole.
It's a good one. I like that one. Favorite restaurant in Chicago?
Man, I got a lot, man. I'm going to keep it funky, though. I'm going to keep it hood. Man, why did they come off my head? Southtown. It's like a hood spot. It used to be on 35th. They closed it down because it was 24 hours.
What is it
now
called?
They moved it to Southtown.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me your top 5 artists.
Cole. Drake. Who I've been listening to a lot. Cole, Drake. I'm gonna just keep it current.
Okay.
I ain't gonna go back. Drake. Favorite or top?
Favorite. No. Top.
Kendrick.
Okay.
Kendrick. I'm gonna keep it there. That's for me. That's the 4. That's my. I listen to everybody and anything, like any music, even when I be with the kids and coaching them. Like, I listen to their artists as wild as they are.
Yeah.
Like, man, there's a gym every now and then.
Yep. They keep you current. They let you know what's going on.
Hey, they keep current. Like, people are like, what song is this? I'm the kids showed it to me.
Yep.
They play some shit. But yeah, that's my the traditional ones like everybody else got.
Okay. Favorite coach you ever played for?
Coach Burlock.
Okay.
Oh no, take that back. Coach Tone, my AAU coach. Hands down.
Yeah. Favorite
Hands
one.
down. Go like you hoop. His thing is go around him.
That's it.
Go by him. No, I don't want to hear nothing. Go by him. That.
What AAU what AAU teams you play for?
I play for Old Gold and I play for the Illinois Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah, he just like go around him. Like don't. If you get to the bucket, you better finish.
Yep.
Like you better finish.
Yep.
Come on. Yeah, and we pressed 24 feet. That was me. I'm on the ball.
That's it. All right, and the last question, what was the most inspiring words that you ever got from a coach playing the game that you actually use even in your day-to-day today?
Coach Burlock, do what you're supposed to do no matter how you feel.
There we go.
Like,
No matter how you feel, that's it.
No matter how you feel, do what you're supposed to do. That was because you're gonna have bad days. Like that's just the nature of it.
There
So it
we
was like,
go.
man, it gotta get done.
Yep.
Gotta get done.
Gotta get done for sure. No, that's right. All right, for sure. That's 30-second timeout real quick. All right, getting back into the conversation, man. All right, so let's get into the second half. Football, career, college, that lane comes to an end. Graduation, all of that good stuff. What was next for you?
Man, we was on a plane back from the bowl game. And it was just like, man, this is over. That's the thing that nobody tell you.
Yep.
Like that nobody's coming to have an exit. You don't have exit interviews in college. Like nobody's talking to you or having a conversation with you and telling you like kind of your next step. They kind of like, okay, you're in the Delta. Like, you was on the plane back, like, man, you got to pack your stuff and go back to Chicago or wherever you got NFL aspirations that you got. And my body was just tired. Like I was just, even after like having ACL surgeries and just always being hurt, like I was just kind of like just tired.
Yep.
And I was trying to figure out what I was going to do.
Yep.
Like honestly, and I knew I wanted to coach. I actually ended up almost GAing at a couple different schools. I almost was a GA coach at Arkansas and then at Kansas. I was actually getting on the plane to go to Arkansas, and they got fired as I was giving the lady my boarding pass.
Oh, wow.
Someone's like, check your phone. So that was like my first introduction to college. Like, yo, like I ain't even got there yet. And then Kansas, Coach Weiss and Coach Ianello, and one of the coaches that recruited me from Illinois was at Kansas now. And he called, he went in. Like, and I'm like, Coach, I'm a grown man now. We ain't got it. I'm no, I ain't going. Like, nah, I ain't gonna get into that. Like, it just kept me home. Like, someone was saying, like, you need to be at home. Like, you don't need to go coach college.
Yep.
So I jumped and started coaching. I started with this training organization called Core 6 Athletes. Eddie Tim actually introduced me to him. Me and Eddie always had a great relationship.
Okay.
And I started working with them, and we had the number one receiver in the country, Quan Triller. Had the number one receiver in the country. And so me and him, like,
connected
right away.
Yeah.
Right away. He had grade. He still had to qualify. He was going through it. He was ascending. He started out like 5. He was the number one player. Then he went 5-star. But we worked. Like, Quan worked. Yeah. Like, even to this day. And so I want to say, like, I had a name. I had a little bit of a name back home, but I wasn't current. Mm-hmm. And then with him, training him, it made me current. Like, oh, like, you really know your stuff.
Yep.
Like, and then I was with Core 6. Craziest thing, we had this line. This is how talented the kids in Core 6 was. We had this linebacker by the name of Clifton Garrett. Clifton Garrett is in the same signing class as OBJ. Do you know what number OBJ wore his freshman year at LSU?
It wasn't 13.
He wore 33 because they gave Clifton Garrett 3. He was that good. And that's when I'd be like, you can understand it. Like, whoa, yeah, they give a Chicago kid number 3 over Louisiana.
Yeah, a Louisiana kid in state at that.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, yo, he was that nice though. And then we had like all these kids, so we was like the first like big training organization that took it to 707 and had all these kids assimilated in this organization. And me and Pooh now, we just butted heads about. I was learning that the same problems that we was having in the city with kids in the suburbs having the same problems. Like academics, don't want to go to school, it was the same thing. They live and die by sport just as much as we did.
Yep.
I told them, like, man, we need to start up some academic stuff. But it was personal for me because I went through that.
Yeah. And
Quan was going through that. And some of the other kids, Clifton was going through that. And he was trying to take the test. So I'm like, man, we need to do this. And he was like, no, we don't need to do that. No, he was like, we need to charge for it. I don't want to charge for it. Like, that's kind of whack.
Yeah.
And so I started up my own organization and I wanted to collab with him. And he was kind of like, nah.
Yeah.
And kind of like pushed me out. So it forced me to start HEROH. Like, so I just started HEROH as like the academic piece.
Yep. I remember that.
Then I added the football. And then I was coaching. And crazy is I wanted to win state at Morgan Park, but Phillips was close. And so they went to state and lost, and then all the Phillips kids came to HEROH. So that was our first year doing 7-on-7, and we was talented.
Right.
Because they had the talent, and they was the Morgan Park of, at that time.
Yep.
And it just, you get this marketing. You get the right group of people, boom, there we go. All out the gate. Like, you got something. And we was the only people, only of our kind. So all the city kids, like, I'm playing with HEROH. So it's like, then I had all then I had all these receivers, and I've always had receivers in HEROH, and that became like my thing. And like today, now it's just like running a business over a year's time is draining, dog. Yeah. But that's how that whole thing started.
Man, that's literally beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I love to hear. I hate to hear, that there was that disconnect with somebody who you started in the beginning of courses, but it also opened up and it allowed for you to fulfill kind of what your purpose is, right? And that kind of unlocked that for you, right? You knew that you saw something that was missing, not only in the suburbs, but also for these kids in the city, and we see it every day. Like they're missing something. They're talented. They got all the skill set to play with anybody, but the thing that's limiting these kids right now is not having access to the right education and the educational needs and support. And I think,
and I'll be honest about it, like the public school education is not like, it's partly not doing the kids the service that it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Like it's just a lot. It's a lot that goes into that.
Yep.
I feel like we need to do more from an athlete perspective, just because kids get hurt, kids be done playing sports, and then they literally be clueless. Yeah. Like we both know guys that we played with or those that just like damn, even when we was playing, I see him like, I don't know what you're gonna do when this is over.
Well, yeah, when this is done, what is it? What can you do?
So I'm trying to like always have constant conversations with them about, oh, you could do this, you could do that. This is involved with sport. I'm still in sport. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in this avenue. This is the number one, and it's next to music. Like this is the number 2 entertainment industry in the world. Like a sport, you can do anything associated with it. You just got to know the other stuff. So you ain't got to lead a game. It's just you can facilitate it differently. You don't got to be playing.
Yeah. Once we kind of unlock that for these kids to see that beyond just what's done on the field or on the court, there's a ton, like hundreds of jobs outside of, you got somebody taking your picture, you got somebody coaching, you got somebody taping you up, you got a film crew, you got a coaching crew, like you've got marketing.
Like the people that set up the game, the event crew.
The events crew, yeah. And I think that when you get people to kind of see that of like, oh, I can still be around football? Like I can watch football all day, or I can become the edgy Tim of, I can be a sports writer and just literally just rate and rank guys. You can do that and get paid for it. Good money. And I think, and that's something that we just have to do a better job of educating, our community and educating a lot of these kids out here to figure out what's next for them. You know what I mean? I think that's the service beyond CPS that I think that, like you said, these athletes can kind of go back to and grab a hold of some of these youngsters to let them know.
Close, man. I've been working on this facility project for some time, and I feel like that's the biggest resource. Like, because even when you think about it now, somebody say, I'm at home. And they're like, well, where you training at?
Yeah.
Like you could probably think of DB spot at pro. That's the only one.
Yep.
Or like you might know somebody that can open up the gym for you, and it's just like, where you going? Like there's no direct. We close. Like we're really close. It's just you need capital. You need funding. You gotta do that. You gotta know the right people. So, but I think that we close. I think that within the next year and a half, we'll be able to open our doors and be able to get that.
There you go. I love it. I think that this is definitely a platform that can help facilitate some of those conversations and kind of bring some of those resources together for sure. No, man, I love it. So, I know we talked a lot about something. What were some of the goals that you kind of put in place, I guess, after you left Illinois, that helped fulfill where you are right now with HEROH?
I think the biggest thing is just my daughter has helped with a lot of my goals. Mm-hmm. Just because I had my daughter my senior year in college. And so it's always kept me in a space where it's like, okay, you got these things that you're doing, but you still got to be a dad.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be a dad. And my daughter reminds me of that constantly.
Yep.
You know, it's always like, that was my biggest thing is like, be the best dad. So if I could be the best dad, and I could be a good coach.
Yep.
You know, I could be a good leader. But like, I think everything like starts with that, because that parenting is hard.
Yep.
Like, it is so hard.
I'm
like, now I got she's about to be 13. I got a 2-year-old, and like, you make more mistakes than you do anything else. Like, so it's just, that has like that's always been my goal. And if I do that well, then if I'm doing that well, everything else kind of like falls in line. Like, honestly, like, everything falls in line. So that's been like my biggest goal, because one, I ain't have like a heavily parent influence, you know, in my life. So I wanted to make sure like my kids had everything that I didn't have, but you know, somebody that they could be proud of. Like, oh, that's my dad.
Yep.
Like, no, Chris James is my dad.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter be on that.
Yep.
Like,
that's my dad.
That's my dad. You know what I'm saying? So to be proud of, you know, that was like, that's like a big, that's a big goal for me. Like, when I'm winning and stuff like that, my daughter right there.
Yep.
Like, anything that I'm doing, she right there. So she like to kick it with her friends now. She don't like to kick it with her dad.
Of course, dad becomes less and less cool. Like, you still cool, but like, I got my friends that's cooler right now. Yeah.
Like, can you send me cash? You Apple Pay me, dad?
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Now she's just in the pocket now.
Right. Yeah. But no, that's like my big thing is like my relationship with my daughter. And now, you know, I got my own son. You know, and seeing like how he's gravitated to football at 2 years old.
Yeah. Like,
if he in a car, he got to have a football in his hand. And it's like, man, I ain't want to force this on you. Somebody was like, well, what was you expecting?
Right. you around the game all the time.
Yeah, my daughter the same way. Like, she want to throw a football. She want to show people she can catch. Can I play? Like, no, can't play. Go play all the other sports you play. So
yeah.
That's like my biggest goal.
I love it. You know, something that I really love about this conversation here is like, you started to adapt and evolve into a man that, you know, a father, a coach, because, you know, let's be real. Being a coach, you're really a father to the many other athletes that out there. They need things. You help provide.
Especially if you're in CCS, man.
Yeah.
Like, I talked to a coach in the suburb school, he a great coach. Like, great. He an amazing coach. And I was like, man, what about your kids? He was like, once they leave practice, I don't know nothing about them. Like, and I'm like, where I'm at? Like, I got to.
You got to.
Like, I got to know everything about, like, Coach, can you help me get to practice? Coach, can I bring my brother to practice?
Yep.
Coach, I can't come to practice. I do this for my mom. I got to, like, there's so many, like, varying situations. And if you're not from it, it can wear on you.
Yeah.
Like, it's times where we're like, damn, like, can we just play football?
It's not just about football.
Like,
it's not just football.
It's not about football at all. Like, today, like, even at Morgan Park, we got Family Fridays where we sit down, we eat, and we talk. And it's just like, that's big for them.
Yeah.
One, I don't know. They're getting a good meal. Like, shit, I'm going to eat Pop-Tarts when I get home.
Right.
You know, or like for them just to be around their other teammates, and I always invite the dad. Like, this here, that kids that got, like, man, come show your face. So, you know, when he do have a dad, even if he don't got one now, he know what it is. Now I'm going to go to my kids, you know, thing, because I've seen the dad do that when I was in you know, high school, like, kind of like setting that indirect example. So everything is little for them. They people look at them like they big kids, but they sponges.
Yeah.
I was a sponge at 21, 22. I'm a sponge at 34.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And listen to them. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So that's like the big thing for me.
Man, that's awesome, man. Like, taking on that level of responsibility among, like, you have to be dedicated, and you have to love and be passionate about what it is that you're doing. And so I love hearing this story right here, man. Super proud even just listening to it. Like, I didn't even know a lot of this that you were on the hook for. You know what I mean? Like, I love it, man. I really do. So here, you know, before we go ahead and get out of here, I guess, you know, looking back on your athletic career, looking back on what you were able to endure growing up, getting out the projects, going to play Division I against some of the best. What's the advice that you would tell your younger self that you know now?
Man, enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Enjoy it a little bit more. Like, you're going too fast. Like, slow down and take it in. Like, you don't think it's gonna end.
Yeah.
You don't think it's gonna end. I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. Like, I would have. Yeah. So I had a second where like, damn, like we playing in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
we playing later night game or like, yeah, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. Like a whole lot more.
Yeah. No, it's something.
Even the college part of it, like I wish I could go back to that part and like, nah, go out, fam. I wasn't really that guy.
Yeah.
My head, like, man, something bad gonna happen. I ain't been nowhere where parties and it happened. Anything good happen.
Yep.
I'm good, man.
Yep. Well, you're a product of your environment in your mind.
Yeah, so it's just like I just wish I would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah. It's something that you mentioned of like going to the Rose Bowl, experiencing that, but then getting on the plane and realizing like, hey, it's done. Like
it's over.
Yeah. Like there's no practice tomorrow. There's no
you're used to it. Like that's the big thing I think with college athletes. Like if you ain't going pro or if you ain't trained, and that's the majority of them. Yep. What's your first step? Go back home. I know dudes that a lot of guys from Florida, like at Illinois, that just stayed in Champaign. Like just because they just didn't even know what the next step was. They just sat there.
Wow.
Yeah. And then eventually, like, they catch on, but you got to think, them dudes been doing this sport since they was 8, and now it's over.
Yep. Now
like,
what?
Yeah. So, man.
No, I love it. Live a little more. I love it. To just kind of take a beat and chill out for a second. So, HEROH Foundation doing amazing things, as you said. Really taking a lot of a hold of the reins. Really started off from educational purposes and giving kids a space to just refocus their attention on the academics part of things that now has transpired into the football space. What's next in that at HEROH with you?
So we started out with, always knew that we needed a space.
Yep.
Like a space that kids could call home. Because even in the first 4 or 5 years, we didn't have a home. Like we bounced around from this facility, we doing this or here. And so it wasn't a space where like, man, I don't care what's going on. I could go here and work out. I don't care what's going on. I could, and kids don't have that here. Like they just don't. The park, like even like the park district, not a place where you could just go, but you ain't gonna go down there and get better. Yeah. Like then whatever your craft is. So I started with an 8,000 square foot space that we was looking at, that we had signed a letter of intent to sign a lease. Mm-hmm. And we went in with the builders and everybody, and they was invested in the whole program, not just building out the building. They wanted to know everything, and they looked at it, and we started. And they was like, "You're going to outgrow this in 3 weeks. Once you open the door, you're not going to be able to
do what it is."
Now I'm just thinking small.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and so they were like, "Man, do you know anybody?" And I was like, "I actually got an agreement for 2 acres on the." They like, "What you doing?" And I'm like, "That's hard. Like, that's $6 million."
Yep.
And so they was like, "No, you can do it. That's $6 million." And, people, that ain't no money. And I'm like, "Well, if it ain't no money, why don't you go ahead and just give it to me right now?" So like, and so it ended up, we got 2 acres on 39th State Street.
Okay.
We part of like a full development where now we're looking at like a 70,000, 80,000 square foot space where we have like 3 to 4 basketball courts, 70 by 50-yard field, a research space that I'm like super excited about from a research development standpoint, from like a internal nutritional standpoint, and being able to tell you like broccoli not good for you, asparagus is better. Somebody be like, "What? I thought broccoli," but for you specifically, like I could really handle with some of the people that I graduated with from Illinois, and being able to do like some crazy stuff. Like the example that I always give when I'm talking to people to get donations is like, we physically can tell Derrick Rose like what happened, like what happened, like what's going on with your body from this standpoint, and it was just like, we need to tell more people about it. And we'll have a ton of space to do a lot of different stuff.
Okay.
And then like if you 7 years old or if you 23 and you're trying to extend your career, trying to go to the league, you can walk into this space, and play whatever sport that was. Whether that be football, volleyball, baseball, basketball, soccer, badminton, or hey man, I need help with my grades. I need help with my grades, and that's what I'm on, like put in an Exos type of space in the middle of south side of Chicago and doing it. We close,
Yep.
We just really, at the end of the day, we got to raise $2 million.
Okay.
So if we able to do that, then we make the impact that I always wanted. People are like, man, you put 30 kids in school, and I'll be like, that ain't enough.
Right.
That's not doing much.
I agree with you to a point, but I would say, man, what you're doing is amazing. Even just getting that one, like, do not knock yourself on that. Just if I can provide some uplift as you're going through this, because I know how difficult it is. You take it on a lot, but like at the same time, I get it. There can be more to be done. But what I would kind of challenge you and the people who are listening is, how can they help be a resource and a vessel for you to help get more? If you got 30, I know I can get 30. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's not all on you to do. But I 100%, I agree with you. Like, there's more to be done for sure. And we know because our kids are asking for it for sure.
Yeah. So I think with this, when we do it, when we announce it, like, we got the money and show people, like, this what we on. Because it ain't like always say this. Like, I'm fine with people creating businesses and ventures, and it's a couple other indoor spaces in the city, but they don't have their own programs, and they not run by people that did it, like that really did it, and saying like, okay, yeah, we got to keep the lights on, and funding is important, but then we also got to be equitable for the kids that can't afford it. And how does that look? What does that look like? But also not just letting them come for free, because they'll take advantage of that. Yeah. You and I both know that. Like, you give people fish, they're just gonna keep asking. You teach them how to fish.
Teach them how to fish.
Get your own, Yep. And so we got that. We just still in that position of, we just need this first initial start. And I'll tell people, anybody that's been listening, is I'll never have to ask you for a donation ever again after we get this up.
Yeah.
Based on the model, right? So we created a home model. All right. And I'm gonna try not to talk fast.
No, you good.
So you got all these well-established programs in Chicago. So you got, let's take Mac Urban Fire, let's take HEROH. We've worked out at every facility there is in Chicago. We don't have a home, right? But I got 300 kids in HEROH. Mac Urban got 150. I tell you, like, hey, this is your home. You can do whatever you want in here. You can put your schedule in, practice. I just need every kid that you got on a membership. Every kid. This is your home. You get to create the schedule. We do a revenue share. We do a partnership for events. So you don't got to rent out the building because it's your home, And we do that. If I get 1,000 kids on a $40 membership, that's $40,000 a month.
Yep.
And the reality of it is, all 1,000 ain't coming in. The 200 with the great work ethic is the ones that's coming in. But I've made it available for you to come get the work that you need. And saying like, oh, I got this. I could get one-on-one and group training. And so that's what the technology allows us to do. So we can have these big group classes with this wearable technology and give you the individual training that you need.
Yep.
To say like, these your numbers. You measuring against yourself.
Yep.
They're like, how do you put 90 people in a training class? Easily.
Yep. Here's what it is.
It's what it is. It's what you could do. The kid looking after like, oh, these my numbers. Okay, I need to be better next time. And I'm only paying $40 a month. But the aggregate, the volume allows us to keep the lights on, but also making it equitable. Yep. Cool. You want to be in a one-on-one class with a trainer? That's going to cost you.
Right.
So if you afford it, you can. But if not, here's the resources. You're going against yourself, and you got a top-notch trainer in here that's taking care of it. And that's just a bare minimum. And that's like, so now you got all these home programs. You got a baseball, basketball, football. So if a kid say, hey, I play, soccer. Okay, this is the soccer program in the building. Go see them, pay your membership, and you can be a part of their program.
Yep.
And for that organization, when they come in, they're like, man, we got a home now. So you run your own thing, and I give you a set of keys. So now, as the operator of the building, I don't got to be there to open it.
You don't have to be there.
You there, because it's your program. Now you take pride in it. Yep. They take the trash.
Yep.
Because most people would tell you that when we're like, damn, I want to have a tournament, but I don't get no money from the concession stand. You have an event, we split it 60-40. You get the money. So now you push people to the concession stand. You don't got to set it up because the building created it for you. But any indoor that you walk into right now, any complex, they don't have that kind of continuity.
Yep.
Because one, they don't got the network,
right,
and they don't have the relationships with the organization.
Yep.
Be able to do that. And I know, like, they don't got no home, and they getting taxed for renters. And I'm telling you, you don't got to do none of that no more. Come on.
Yep. come on over there with you.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do, and I just got to get in front of people to like kind of like just show them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is super important, and definitely, you know, any way that I can be a resource, you know, and help connect some dots and make some things happen for you, you know, please, I will definitely pass along your way, especially as I kind of hear people want to invest in other ways, and I think that this is something that can definitely happen. No, man, this has been a great conversation. I think what you're doing, I think the journey is incredible, and especially something that needs to be heard. So that we can make sure that, you know, the next generation, these ones that are coming up right now, they can understand that, hey, you're a product of your environment, and this is where you ended up, you know what I'm saying, and this is how your growth and journey is. So, man, we'd love to, you know, where can people kind of follow you at, or pay attention, or kind of get more information on
you can
HEROH
follow
and
my
stuff?
page. It's all the same. Chris CJ6 on Twitter. On Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook,
Yep.
Or you can follow HEROH, HEROH, and then everything will come up on every platform. You know, you got to market everything the right way.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Exactly.
It's all aligned.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I just want to make sure that people got access to you and can tap in how they need to, man. But I appreciate the conversation. I'm looking forward to actually doing this more in person. Hopefully I can get out there and come talk to the kids, even over at Martin Park and whatever, you know, just kind of give them a little bit of a few words of encouragement as well. So, and also maybe even bring a few friends with me as well. So, man, appreciate you jumping on with me, man. This was incredibly important.
All right, man. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Man, appreciate you. Thank you.